Somebody brought it to my attention, and it's actually true. Have you noticed ever since Carmelo Anthony's indictment, black people have gone silent? Yeah, I've noticed. I mean, there are no black activists out there. Nothing, not a peep, not a not a nada, nothing. It's so amazing how everyone's gone silent. What's going on, y'all? I mean, when you guys raised almost $1 million for this family, we could, nobody could hear the end of it. Y'all were talking shit. Y'all were wishing bad on the Metcalf family, and y'all were disgusting. But now your golden boy is now indicted. Y'all don't have anything to say about it. Hmm. Okay.
I hope that some of the young black men that are following the Carmelo Anthony case, I hope that they are taking notes. I'm sure a lot of them have been brainwashed by Carmelo's spokesperson and stuff like that, but I'm hoping that at least some of them are taking notes. Because this is what the streets do to you. They chew you up and then they spit you out. And this is what I've been talking about since the beginning of this case. How people will hype you up. They'll support you doing the most disgusting things. But when the time comes, when you're held accountable for your actions, those same people that were supporting your actions are no longer there to support you when you're suffering from the consequences of your actions. Everyone is out there riding with you. They got your back on the streets when you're out there acting an ass, doing things that could get you locked up. But once you get locked up, those people disappear. They will hype you up to kill people, to rob people, to hit licks, to do this, to do that, right? But when the time comes and that jail door closes, a lot of those people disappear. And I wish that more young people out here actually realized that. Your friends may be your friends now, but those friends ain't going to hold you down if you get 10, 20 life in jail. The same friends that boosted you up, the same people that boosted you up to do something stupid, will be out here in the real world, enjoying life, eating good food, chasing fine women. They'll be doing all of that while you're behind bars eating jail food, surrounded by a bunch of mentally ill, angry, sweaty dudes. Okay? That's how this story ends for so many young black men like Carmelo Anthony. And it's not because of the system is working against them. It's not because of big bad white people. No, it's because of their culture. At some point in time, they decided to make their culture all about rap music, all about robbing and killing. And then when they suffered the consequences from this, they act as if they never saw it coming. People will be out here living this gangster thug life, street life type of way of living, and then when they get shot or they get robbed or they get arrested, they get so surprised. No, this is what comes with that lifestyle. So for Carmelo Anthony, yeah, a lot of people were loud and vocal and cheering him on in the beginning because they always cheer on people who do horrible things. But all it took was for a couple of weeks or for a couple of months for those people to forget about Carmelo and to move on. And I'm telling you guys, I see stuff like this happen in my own community all the time. Young men out here trying to impress people, trying to be hard, trying to do this, trying to do that. And often these young men aren't even, how can I put it? They're different than how they portray themselves. They want to portray themselves on the streets like they're these hardcore gangsters, but in reality, they're often mama's boys. that like to watch anime and eat Fruit Loops at home. You know what I mean? But they go out here in the streets trying to act tough, trying to maintain a certain image, and they wind up ruining their lives in the process. And then that image that they try to uphold, that reputation that they try to uphold, it means nothing once they get thrown behind bars. So we see this all too often, especially in the black community with young black men. We see this all the time. But even though most of Karmelo's vocal supporters are gone now, even though most of them have gone away, Karmelo does still have some supporters that are still here, being loyal to him, doing whatever they can to spread fake news while harassing Austin's family. I would say that it looks just like what we saw happening at the beginning of this case, but I think things have gotten worse. I think that some of Karmelo's more loyal supporters, I think they've reached a new level of desperation. They realize that they're not the loudest voices in the room anymore. They realized that the hundreds and thousands of people that were coming in and backing them up on their social media posts and stuff like that, most of those people have disappeared. Karmelo's been indicted. We got news outlets viewing the security footage and they say it doesn't look good for Karmelo. So Karmelo's closest supporters, they're starting to crumble. And they're starting to act out in desperation. For example, we know that they started making new rap songs about Austin Metcalf. That was really lame. But they even went so far as to impersonate Austin Metcalf's father. They had someone pretending to be Austin Metcalf's father popping up on different live streams, calling people the N-word and stuff like that. Now, why would they do that? Why? Well, for one, for some reason, these people are hyper obsessed with race. All day, everything is about race for them. They'll sit at home and they'll come up with fake scenarios about white people calling them the N-word or being racist towards them. I don't know why these people are so obsessed with racism and stuff, but that's what they do. That's what they do. They're so offended by the N-word that they find people to pretend to be white fathers. It's so mind-boggling. These people are so offended by a white person saying the N-word that they pretend to be a white person saying the N-word. Like, they're so offended by the N-word that they find someone to pretend to be Austin's dad. They bring him into a live stream so he could call everyone the N-word, so then they could pretend to be offended by this person impersonator. It's hard to explain because it's so dumb. And never in my mind, I don't think anyone like me would ever even think of doing something like this. I don't think white people gather together and come up with like fake hate crimes. I mean, maybe they do. I've never heard of it. But it seems like black people are doing this way too often these days. They sit around, they pretend to be victims of white oppression and all of this, and then they create fake white hate crimes. So they have an impersonator impersonating Austin's father, going on live streams, calling people the N-word, so then they could pretend to be offended and basically point the finger at Austin Metcalf's dad and blame Austin Metcalf's dad for Austin being murdered. It's really weird. But let me tell you why they're doing stuff like this. They're not just doing stuff like this to be disgusting, evil people, which we know they are. They're not just doing this because they're racist. We know they are. They're not just doing this to make Austin Metcalf's father look bad. We know they've been trying to do that the entire time. They're doing this in a desperate attempt to raise more money. Because Karmelo's family has come out. They've been asking for more money. That money ain't rolling in at the rate that it used to be. They're still getting donations every day. Maybe they make $100 a day or something along those lines. That's not enough money to pay for their 24/7 security and all of this other nonsense that they don't really need that they have, right? So the money ain't rolling in. So they got to go out here. And I fully believe that Karmelo's team, including Karmelo's family, I believe that they are fully involved in these little schemes. Because we know for a fact that Karmelo's father has been going on these live streams. So I think they're doing little weird things like what they did with the impersonator, the person impersonating Austin Metcalf's father. I think they're doing stuff like that to try to encourage the black community to start pouring money into Karmelo's family again. They want the black community to say, oh my God, look, Austin's father popped up on a live stream and called everyone the N-word. We need to donate more money to Karmelo. I know it's whacked out and wild to think about. Some of you are probably sitting there thinking like, no, there's no way this is happening, because you can't really put your mind in that place. You can't put yourself in these people's shoes, and I don't blame you. But that's what my job is. My job is to understand the ways that people think, to understand why people do the things they do, so I can give you a better idea of what's going on in these cases. And I'm telling you right now, that's how these people think. So when you see them doing weird things like this, impersonating Austin's father and having him say the N-word, understand that there are motives behind it. And I think in some weird, twisted way, which it may be weird and twisted to us, but this is just common practice to these people. They think that they're going to be able to raise more money, now that they have this fake clip out there of Austin's dad calling people the N-word. They see that and they see dollar signs, right? They see that and they say, oh, well, this is going to trick a bunch of other people in the black community into supporting Karmelo again and sending his family more money to fight against racism. We got to fight against the evil Jeff Metcalf. So that's a lot of what is going on here. So yeah, the woman at the beginning of this video is right. Most of these people have hightailed it. You'll never hear from them again. But there are still people here clinging to this story that are still doing disgusting things. And there's no limit. They'll take it to wherever they need to take it, which is what I've been telling you guys from the beginning. And now we're starting to see how far they will take it when they get desperate. And folks, the desperation hasn't even fully kicked in yet. So I don't think we've seen the half of what we're really going to see. And if what we've seen so far is any example or indication of what we're going to see in the future, then things are going to get really ugly, because they have already been really ugly since day one. But there is one thing for certain. You guys can count on me to be here to call this stuff out every step of the way. So make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. Make sure you put on those notifications for this channel. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, drop a comment. If you want to donate, you can donate via Cash App or Super Thanks. And with all that being said, I'll talk to you all very soon in the next video.